Their dad was so afraid of losing them that he had made them promise to never fly again. Not because they were reckless, not because they were fighting a war, but because they were attempting something that most of the world believed was impossible at that time. The year was 1910. By then, Wilbur and Orville Wright had already changed human history. They had done what kings, governments, scientists, and wealthy inventors had failed to do. They had taught humanity how to fly. Yet their father, Milton Wright, still carried a fear that followed him for years. He knew the dangers better than anyone. Every flight could be their last, and so the brothers were made a promise to him. They were never to fly together. If one crashed, the other would survive and continue their work. Think about it for a moment. The inventors who gave humanity wings were forbidden from sharing the skies with each other. And for years, they kept that promise. In fact, after becoming famous around the world, Wilbur and Orville only flew together once. It happened in 1910. After receiving their father's permission, they deliberately avoided being passengers in the same aircraft because they knew how dangerous flight still was, even if they weren't fully confident that every takeoff would end safely. But that remarkable story is only one of many untold facts about the Wright brothers, because the real story of the Wright brothers is far stranger and far more inspiring at the same time. Most people know the famous photograph, the grainy image of a fragile machine lifting off the sands of Kitty Hawk. They were bicycle mechanics. They ran a small bicycle shop in Dayton, Ohio. No government grants, no corporate sponsors, no billionaire backers. They funded their experiments totally on themselves. Every failed test, every broken wing, every crashed glider came out of their own pockets. Like Thomas Edison and the light bulb, they failed often, again and again. While others searched for bigger engines, the Wright brothers became obsessed with a different question. How do you control an airplane? After all, getting into the air is one thing, staying there is another. Many inventors before them had managed brief hops and glides. The challenge wasn't simply leaving the ground. The challenge was steering the plane. The Wright brothers realized that a successful flying machine would need to control in 3 dimensions: the pitch, the roll, and the yaw. Today, that sounds obvious. At the time, it was revolutionary. Their breakthrough came from something unexpected: birds. They spent hours watching birds twist, adjust their wings while flying. The observation eventually inspired wing warping, one of the key innovations that allowed controlled flight. And here's another untold fact. The Wright brothers didn't simply trust the scientific data that was available to them. They discovered much of it was wrong. Rather than accepting established research, they built their own wind tunnel and conducted thousands of tests on their own. 2 bicycle mechanics questioning the calculations of respected scientists and being proven right over the long term. The data they gathered became one of the most important foundations in aviation history. But even after they achieved powered flight in December of 1903, almost nobody believed them. Today we imagine headlines exploding around the world, but in all reality that didn't happen. Many newspapers ignored the story altogether. Some journalists were skeptical. Others thought the claims were exaggerated. For years, many people doubted the Wright brothers had truly achieved controlled flight. It's hard to imagine that now. The invention that would eventually reshape warfare, travel, commerce, and human civilization was initially met with indifference and disbelief. In some ways, the Wright brothers faced the same challenge many innovators face today. They knew what they had accomplished, but the world did not. And then there was their sister, Catherine Wright. Often overlooked in history books, she played a vital role in the family's success. She helped manage family affairs, supported the brothers emotionally, and later became one of their most important ambassadors. When the brothers traveled internationally and became global phenoms, Catherine often would represent them. But perhaps the most emotional chapter came later. In 1910, after years, Orville finally convinced his father to fly. Milton Wright was over 80 years old. Most people his age would never dream of climbing into an aircraft. Yet there he was, soaring hundreds of feet above the ground with his son. As the aircraft climbed higher and higher, Milton reportedly shouted words that perfectly capture that moment. "Higher, Orville! Higher!" Think about what that moment meant. A father who had spent years worrying about losing his sons, a father who had insisted that they never fly together, now looking down from the sky itself. The impossible had become reality. Sadly, the story doesn't have a perfectly happy ending, though. Wilbur Wright, one of the brothers, died in 1912 at just 45 years old from typhoid fever. Many historians believed aviation lost one of its greatest minds. Orville would live for decades afterward, witnessing aviation evolve from fragile wood fabric machines into powerful aircraft that crossed oceans and continents. He even lived through long enough to see the dawn of the jet age. Imagine that journey. As a child, there were no airplanes. By the end of his life, aircrafts were connecting the whole world together. And it all began with two brothers in a bicycle shop who refused to accept that flight was impossible. The untold story of the Wright brothers isn't really about airplanes. It's about curiosity, persistence. It's about questioning accepted established knowledge. And it's about a family that believed extraordinary things could happen when people were willing to keep experimenting, even when everyone else doubted them. Today, billions of people fly every year. Most never think about the risk, the failures, or the sacrifices that had to be made for modern aviation to be possible. But behind every takeoff is the legacy of two brothers who once promised their father that they would never fly together. Just as the Wright brothers tested their own curiosity and didn't allow popular established thought to stifle their desire to test their ideas out, what are some dreams and ideas that you might have? Until next time, subscribe for more.